Hey everyone, ELD's Time Vault Games is back to full strength. We are running events every weekend, and some of those events have had people asking questions. I figured rather than answering everyone one at a time, it'd be best to get a video made. And I'll quickly go over the schedule here before we get into some of those more complicated questions. But on a weekly basis, we are playing Commander every Tuesday at 6 p.m. That is an event, it is a gathering rather than a tournament. So you're going to be paired up against people that are looking to do the same thing. If you want to play competitive CEDH spiky decks, we're going to pair you up with those type of players. If you're looking to do something really goofy, we're going to find other people that have similar designs and make sure that people are actually playing the same game and having fun. More people, the better. So be sure if you're in the area and like Commander to come check that out. It is a gathering, so you don't get prizes based off of your record. That all of the prizes are random and everybody's guaranteed to get something during the evening. Big giveaway at the end of the evening is all of the entry fees given away as one huge prize. So currently, we haven't had like a 20-person one yet. We might split it into two as it gets like really big. But for now, if we get like 10 people, it's $150 in credit. That's going to one lucky person at the end of the night, which is really exciting to see people get that and then be able to like upgrade their commander deck with cards that they might not otherwise have really had the ability to pick up. So that's a lot of fun. Definitely recommend it. Of course, our bread and butter is legacy tournaments every Wednesday and Friday. And now these are $15 tournaments now. So the prize pool is 50% more. So first place lately has been 70 plus dollars. We had one event where it was $90 for first place. Very exciting stuff. Those bigger prizes, I think, is just more exciting when you win a weekly. Like it should be something that you're really psyched about. And I feel like they're really at that place now, especially given how singles prices have changed. Being able to pick up some of the better cards, you're working on a new deck or blinging out a deck, whatever it is that you're doing. I just love seeing more prizes. I want to give out as much prizes as possible. That's always my plan. Now, most of the questions have revolved around proxies. So first, I'll tell you what is not going to be acceptable for proxies. We don't have pieces of paper flipped into it. That is not going to cut it. Unfortunately, there are some issues that can arise from having thicker cards, especially when they just so happen to be the most powerful cards in the history of Magic. If your Black Lotus, your Ancestral Recall happen to be thicker when you're shuffling, that can cause problems, and we do not need any type of difficulty like that in these events. They're competitive. There's big prizes on the line. We got to make sure this runs as smoothly as possible. No slips of paper jammed into the sleeves. We also don't allow counterfeit cards. So when we're talking about cards that are not actual Magic the Gathering cards, things that you can get online from shady websites, we are not allowing that in store. I don't even want them in the store, to be honest. I've seen nothing but problems from them. I've had many people try and sell them to me, which led to all sorts of embarrassment for them. Obviously, they weren't even aware that the particular card was a fake. I've seen people accidentally trade them to people. I've had people that have received them as gifts and realized that it was fake. They're just a mess. I'm not a fan, and they're not going to be allowed in the tournament. They also have different card thickness, different snaps. Again, going to shuffle differently, so there's no reason for that. We want actual, genuine Magic cards, and I'm going to show you some examples of ways that you can do this. So, you know, you can erase a Magic card with an eraser, a literal pencil eraser, and that will allow you to write in the text. This is an example of a Mox Emerald that somebody had made, Mox Sapphire, getting a sketch in there. Now, I would prefer that you take a few minutes and try and do that. The minimum requirement is going to be taking a basic land and writing on there with Sharpie, Mox Sapphire, and it's an artifact, and it's got a 0 casting cost, which I actually didn't even do on that. I did that so hastily. But you want all of the relevant text on there. So make sure that you take a couple of minutes. The main thing to remember is you're going to be the one that's goldfishing the deck, practicing it, getting ready for the event. Your opponent's going to be seeing these cards for the first time. So if you proxy a Mock Sapphire, just have your opponent in mind. Because nobody should want to win because your opponent was confused about which cards were on the board and how many artifacts were in play. And let's just put in a little extra effort, keep our opponents in mind, and make sure that we make these proxies a clear thing. You don't have to go as all out as, like the old proxies from back in the day, but anything that is clear, concise. The most commonly proxied things are going to be a power, so like Mock Sapphire or dual lands. I know a bunch of people had commented that they have enough duels for a legacy deck, but not a legacy and a vintage deck. So for that, I just recommend getting like a guild gate or something and just writing all of relevant text. Swamp Forest, name is Bayou, taps for blue and green, good enough. And if you want to do something better looking, it's all good. If you want to erase it, you can do that with acetone or an eraser. You can look into that at your own peril, or whatever the expression is, at your own risk. Acetone can actually be pretty uncomfortable to work with. Make sure you wear a respirator if you do. Something like Ancestral Recall, this type of thing works great. And that is what we're looking for. So no slips of paper, no counterfeit cards, just actual Magic the Gathering cards that have been modified to clearly represent to your opponent what it is that you're trying to proxy. So that was for our vintage event. Also for our team trio, which is now modern, legacy, and vintage. Very excited for this one. If you're interested in playing, make sure you pre-register online. We only have so many spots. There's only so many people that can fit in the store. In the past, we had overflow and people had to play in the Chinese restaurant next door, Bamboo Express. I cannot guarantee that that's a possibility, so make sure that you sign up and make sure you save your spot, because these will, in all likelihood, be selling out consistently. We have a ton of fun with these. These are our big marquee event. The following weekend, we're going to be doing our first Modern Open since reopening. Looking forward to that. Modern Horizons 2 certainly shaking things up there. The following weekend, we have a Legacy Open, August 7th, and then August 14th. This weekend is going to be insane. We've got a double header for Pauper and Old School. Pauper, of course, is a competitive format. The power level, somewhat reminiscent of Legacy. I mean, it's really fun, powerful decks. And the Pauper Open is going to run parallel to an Old School. Now, Pauper, definitely a tournament setting. Old School, more of a gathering. So while it has a format of a tournament, you get paired up according to records. At the end of it, everybody's going to get something great. So the person that has the best record at the end is going to pick from a table of prizes, and they're going to get the first pick. But even coming in last, you're going to get a pick from the table, and there's an infinite number of $50 gift cards on the table. So everybody gets one pick. So even if you come in dead last, you're still guaranteed to get at least a $50 credit, and the entry fee is $50. So door prizes across the day as well. It's not as competitive in that sense, where winning is still awesome and you get some extra stuff for winning, but it's not the be all end all that a traditional open may be, where you're getting way I mean way more prizes than the person that comes in last, because normally you don't get anything for last. Old School, a little bit different. It's more about getting out the camaraderie, the community, playing things that are underdogs. I mean, that's a big thing in Old School as well, sleeving things up that you might have played when you were a kid and just having fun with it and playing with the actual cards. So we're going to have a room with people playing with decks that are like literally like a $20 deck, other people playing with decks that, filled with actual unlimited or beta power. And I'm hoping there's going to be some cross play there. I'd love to see the number one deck from the Old School play the number one deck for the Pauper. That would just be awesome if we can make that happen. And then, haven't even changed the slider yet. We are bumping up the Team Legacy Open to August 15th. So this is going to be Team Unified. And again, this one has some questions. So August 15th, not the 22nd as the slide shows, but this is going to be updated very, very soon. And Team Trio is held by the older standard. I will just explain the standard. Currently, it doesn't work this way, and like Wizards sanctioned events are still Force of Will across all 4 decks, only 4 copies total. There's another rule which says, like, if one deck is playing a copy, nobody else can play a copy. That's not what we're doing. We're doing, if you take all 3 decks, smash them together, you would have one legal legacy deck. So if you're playing for surgical extraction, I can't have any in my deck, but we are allowed to each have 2 surgical extractions. It creates some really interesting things, most notably Force of Will. Going to be 4 of those on your side of the table. So there's only going to be one blue deck that can play Force of Will. Is the meta significantly? It's a really interesting puzzle. one of the most fun events that we have, and that's going to be August 15th. So we're going to have signups for that pretty much as soon as this video goes live. The website should be up to date and everything ready to go. So we've got the team trio this upcoming weekend, August 15th. We're going to have Legacy trio, and this is just back to full speed ahead. We are doing events every single weekend. If I missed your question, let me know in the comments and I will get to it. And I'm looking forward to having all of you back in the shop. Peace.